Happy Thursday. Hey, as you're logging on, go ahead and turn those Zoom cameras on. It makes it so much easier for me. I know everybody's just kind of getting put in right now. So we'll see here in just a minute. What's up, Garrett? Thank you for turning your camera on. What's up, Justin? Good to see you again. As always. Lovely, lovely. So today we're going to be going over how to utilize DealDriven for your real estate investing business, what kind of leads you should be looking at, how to manipulate the data. So really for me, the best way to do that is to actually use one of you, one hopefully that we haven't done before, and kind of show you what type of leads I'd be pulling if I were you. So just so you know, I've done wholesaling, fix and flips, sub twos, owner finance, sandwich lease options, rentals, all mostly in the single family home space. So whenever I bring you on, just kind of let me know what type of back-end investing you're going to do. And then I'll be able to kind of help you in your area decide, like, what are the good leads there? What should I be pulling? How do I manipulate that data? So we'll get started here in just a minute. So if you would like to do that with me live, I'll look at your area. Garrett, since you've got your camera on, you ready to be the first guinea pig?
I'm ready.
Okay, awesome, awesome. How's it going for you?
Going great. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, yeah. So where are you calling in from?
I am in Mooresville, North Carolina, north of Charlotte.
Oh, awesome. So you're in a great market. So, Skip, you wanted to know if this was live or recorded. I'm always live. Hey, tell your daughter I said hello. All right. So what is your back end strategy, Garrett?
Well, I'm very new. I've only been with you guys a week, so I'm new to the real estate business. So, I mean, I'm open to whatever will make us money.
Gotcha. So we're going to look at wholesales and flips for right now. Okay. I would not, like, if you're just starting, I probably wouldn't start with creative financing. This is a little bit easier to kind of pick up. It makes more sense. And guys, I'm going to say things on this call that some of you might know, but I'm going to try to explain everything to everybody's level, just depending on where you are. So what's a wholesale deal? So a wholesale deal is when you go get a contract direct to seller, okay? Your contract allows you the right to pre-market that property, and because you have it under contract, you have equitable interest. So in a traditional wholesale deal, you put said property under contract and you sell your equitable interest in your contract to another buyer at a higher price. Be careful to say, I'm selling homes. You cannot sell houses, other people's properties, unless you're a licensed real estate agent and or broker. But as a wholesaler, you're not selling properties, you're selling your equitable interest in a property. Okay. So generally all your profits are going to be made on that deal inside the equity of what's in that home. Remembering the equity is the difference between what someone owes in their property and what the property is worth. Now, fix and flip. That one's pretty easy to explain. You buy it, you fix it, you sell it, right? If you're one of my partners in any different scenario, we actually do something called wholesaling. The reason I do that is Garrett's fairly new. We don't already have a big buyers list there. So what he can do is put a property under contract. Then I can go and list that same property on the MLS with a real estate agent at a higher price. And instead of an assignment, we're going to do a double close, which means I actually buy it in the morning, sell it in the afternoon, or at least within a couple of day period there. Generally, if you're going to buy and sell something, even if you're just cleaning it and you're selling it as is, I still consider that a fix and flip because it's not a quick turnaround. It actually has to be done. So Let's go ahead and look at some of the main strategies there. All right, so I'm already logged into DealDriven from this screen right here. So we're going to do what's called pulling lists. Okay, so we're going to take lists from his area and we're going to look for things that may lead us to believe that a seller might be motivated to hear from Garrett about selling their home, right? So there's lots of different motivated sellers. So you're going to see me do a combination of stacking motivation on top of each other. So Garrett has the biggest opportunity and bang for his buck. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the search for property leads nationwide using the search filter. Now, in previous videos, you'll notice that I have normally did a city with a 20-mile search radius. I've actually sort of changed my mind. Sorry. It's easier to do this by a county and or a parish. Okay. Because when you do a 20-mile search radius, like if he's in Charlotte and he's got Morristown, if he does search radiuses, those two will overlap each other. But if he does it by county, he could pull all his leads by county, and it's a lot easier to keep up with in his list. So what county can we start with, Garrett?
I'm in Iredell County, which is I-R-E-D. There you go.
Okay. Iredell County. All right. So I'm going to show you a couple of lists. We're going to first start with pre-foreclosures. So right now, actually pre-foreclosures are up about 184% over last year. So an individual has, obviously has gotten a loan with a bank and they said, okay, we'll loan you this money, but you pay us back blank every month. Well, now that seller cannot make those arrangements. Okay, so they're probably behind 3 to 4 months. So then what the bank does is they go and file a lawsuit against that seller. And that is called either a list pendants, right? That's the lawsuit. And then they'll file that notice of default. Generally, if processes are working normally, that process for the notice of default date till the auction date's about 3 to 4 months. It differs state to state. Okay. So you'll notice that someone will owe less money at the beginning than they will right before the auction. So someone could have a lot of equity in their house to be losing it back to the bank when they're served that notice of default. But because they've waited to do something over 3 months, then they're getting charged interest, attorney fees. And I promise you, all amount of equity that they have is being eat up like the Cookie Monster and is all the way gone. So the earlier that we can help somebody buy their home prior to them losing it back to the bank, probably the more money we'll be able to give them. Because if I'm doing a pre-foreclosure, if at all possible, I want to give them some moving money too, right? I don't know if anybody's ever been there in their life. I know I have, right? Where I had to leave somewhere, then had to go live somewhere else. You got a deposit for power, this. If their equity is there, I always try to give them some money if I possibly can inside of the equity. So the first thing, Garrett, I want you to do is we're going to pull all the notice of defaults where the auction date hasn't been set yet. So those are your brand new ones. Now, the reason we know people are in pre-foreclosure is because lawsuits are public record, right? So when that bank filed that list pendants in that county, that's how we know. So we're going to go ahead, and if you'll look, I've got an easy button here for you guys. Notice of defaults with no auction date. You've got 65 here, it says. Now, we're at search type. I want you to move to number 3 under choose additional filters. Here, we're going to filter out these leads a little bit, right? We're going to filter them out by equity and other different things. So we want all the single family homes, the townhouses, the duplexes, the triplexes, and the quads. If you're like in Pennsylvania, Maryland, you might have a row house. He does not have row houses in North Carolina. Next, because he's flipping houses and or wholesaling properties, he's going to make sure his properties have equity because that's where the profits are made. So you'll notice this number go down from 57 to another number. So what I want you to do here, Garrett, is put at least 40% equity or more. Now, what should surprise everybody? I'm going to actually take this equity filter out. You see how this number is 57 of people that are in notice of default with no auction dates. I'm saying I only want the people that have at least 40% equity or more. Only 10 people don't meet that criteria. So Garrett, that tells me you've got a lot of opportunity to go out there and help them solve this issue, right? Because you probably can buy the house and put some money in their pocket. Nobody should ever go through foreclosure if they don't have to. Late payments is so much better than it being on your credit report for 7 years. A short sale is better. People with equity aren't going to be able to do a short sale, but here we go. The next thing is I normally do, and this doesn't necessarily, I kind of know what his area is, but if you're like in a certain area, let's say New Orleans, right? You want to get the outliers out there, right? You don't want to be in a place where you don't feel comfortable going and picking up rent at night. That's the best way that I can explain it. Even though I'm not having renters, I'm not going to flip a house somewhere where I'm afraid to go to. You know what I mean? And everybody knows what I'm talking about there. So normally, if you're pulling these, I would tell you to get your outliers out. So I'd say we don't even want to work a property that's not worth at least $75,000 or maybe $50,000. That's going to get rid of those outliers. Okay. So now we're just getting his list to where we're getting the most motivated people. So here's a question for you, Garrett. I don't want the outliers on the bottom, but I don't want the outliers on the top neither. Right. So I don't want multi-million dollar houses either. You don't, that's really not our avatar for flipping houses. So what would you say the kind of the upper end of middle class there is? Price range.
I'll be honest, it's pretty high. This is the market's high here and housing prices are high. And I would go probably 700.
Okay. All right. So we've got 50,000 to 700. I'm not worried about anything else here because this is a great list. Okay. So you're going to press show results. It's going to put all of your homes in one list. There's 43. So from here, you're going to select all of these on this list and say add to selected lists. If you've not created this list before, what I want you to do is put new list and you would name it. I done forgot the name of the town. What was the
town? The town name, the county name is Iredell. Iredell.
Okay, so I would say Iredell, notice of default, no auction date. This is for you to remember, whatever you want to type in here. Okay. Now, next, what's going to happen is from this day, you can pull these and start this list, but you're going to have new ones every month come out long about probably somewhere between the 10th and the 14th. Okay. So every month you're going to want to re-pull this list exactly like I just showed you. But next month, do you see this button here that says exclude properties that are already added?
Yes.
Not this time, but next month you'll want to click that button. That way you're not doubling up your leads.
Okay.
So I'm going to press confirm here. So what it's doing is it's going and it's building this list, putting it in a list for you. Okay. So we're going to press OK. Normally, once that button, I got off of it too quickly, turns blue, your list is done. Now we're going to go look at these two lists I built, but I want to get you the rest of the pre-foreclosures. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to clear these results. Now I want to take a minute and explain why I separate my list and the difference between motivation of people that don't have an auction date and people that have an auction date, right? Theoretically, the sooner from that date that they got that letter from the bank, the better off they're going to be. They're going to walk away with more money. They're solving the problem. You want to start working them as soon as they do that. Here's reality. Most people, and it's just human nature, tend to put their head in the sand. So they might say, God, you know what? Like, I can't believe this has happened. I'm not even going to look. I'm going to be able to fix this. Everybody thinks that at the beginning, and some really do fix it. So they have motivation, right? But they're not mentally there with you yet. So what I would do, Garrett, is when I start calling these people, it says, hey, listen, you got to set yourself the difference between you and other people. Everybody else is calling is like, I'm an investor. I pay cash. I could get you out of pre-foreclosure. You are more than welcome to do that. I go into it as like, hey, I'm from this area too. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and I specialize in helping people just like you avoid foreclosure by either buying their home or helping them stay in their home. And that's the number one goal. Why don't I come out there and meet with you, right? Take a look at the property and let's see what we can do. Because if I do help someone by, getting them a loan modification or giving them advice, and I don't buy the house, I'm still building a reputable name for myself and my community, and I'm just doing the right thing. And I believe in just doing the right thing in general in life will get you further than not. The problem with people that are closer to the auction day is you'll call these people at the beginning and you'll follow up with them for 3 months. And guess when they call you? A week before they're about to lose their house, or 2 days before, and be like, I've got to do something now. And it's not as easy to help them at that point. It's actually damn near impossible. So I separate the list by motivation because I want to work all of them, but at least I kind of know mentally what bucket they're in. So thank you for letting me go out on my tangent. I just wanted to kind of explain that, the reasoning behind that. So now we're going to go back to Iredell, North Carolina. Now, we want the ones now that have a notice of default or that do have an auction date scheduled, right? So now I want the pre-foreclosures and they have an auction. So here where it says any, make sure that it's all here. So here's your ones that are about to be lost, probably July. So I'm going to go back to additional filters, choose my single family home, townhome. I personally can't stand condos unless you're on the beaches of Florida for vacation rentals. People don't buy them. They're hard to flip because they want so much money every month. That's a personal thing. So don't let that, judge your investing. It's just for cash flow. I don't like it. They're hard to resell. And they always want to tell you what to do. All right. So we picked this. I wonder where those other ones are. Okay. Because remember there were 7 and now there's only 2. So it looks like you got a few pieces of property. Or 1 piece of property. Okay. Here, we're going to look at 35% equity or more. We're still at 2. I wouldn't worry about the outliers. All right. These 2 are in very expensive neighborhoods. Oh, this person's auction is today. This one's next month. I'll show you. All right. So we're going to select these records. And I'm going to say Iredell. Pre-4 with auctions. Firm. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to go take a look at his properties. And then I'm going to kind of go over what I'm seeing there to give everybody an idea. All right. So these are the ones that are in pre-foreclosure though, and the auction date is set. So let's take look at this first one on Palos Verda Drive. You'll notice it's a 4-bedroom, 5.5 bath house. Built in 06, a little over a half an acre, 3,077 square foot. Now, I did not put outlier data in here, so this is picking up $1 million house. So this person is losing their house, it looks like, over a loan. Their house is worth $1 million. Let's go and see what the... Okay, I don't know what judgment amount they're going into here, but if they would have stayed on track with their original loan when they bought this house in 2016 for $470, then it looks like they owe $321. Now, I tell you, when I look at this, I think it's crazy they have this much equity. I mean, these people should have sold their house last year. They'd have walked away with $400,000, $500,000 in cash because they bought it for $470. What I don't know is if they got a HELOC on the house or a second mortgage since the first mortgage, but it's looking like when is the auction date? It's saying 6/22 at 12 o'clock. So if they might have lost their house today on this one. Okay. So I could see here the validation. I could see what they paid for it. If I wanted to get in touch with them, I could go and do a skip trace. I'm going to do a paid skip trace so y'all can see it work immediately. Okay, so that's simple. I'm able to find their phone number and their email. So here's the phone numbers for them. Here's the email addresses from them. Okay. The owner of record, I went too far, is Thomas Lowry. So that's how you would get in touch with them. Then I would look at this second one. This one, I'm going to go back to this one. I would definitely call this one Garrett. I'm only showing 300 on the loan, but their auction's July 6th. So that's 2 weeks away. They might have figured something out, but you could go to owner detail. Go ahead and skip trace them. Hey, Garrett, take your phone and take a picture of my screen because I did a paid for skip trace and this will save you, I don't know, 30 cents. Let me try to blow it up a little bit bigger. You see that?
Yep.
And then there's their emails.
Super.
Okay. All right. So that's just one that I found on that one that I would really work. Now I'm going to go to his other list. Now these are the ones that have a notice of default date with no auction set. So these are brand new. On a quick scheme, you could see valuation as opposed to equity. There's not much difference here. I mean, on this one, there's still room to do this deal. One thing is you can't always go off of what these loan amounts are. because nobody really knows. Okay. What it's doing is it's saying from the original time this person got a loan and they paid this interest rate, this is about what they would owe. But you're never going to pick up a hard money loan. You're never going to pick up a HELOC in a program like this, like a home equity line of credit. So these guys, like this Brett guy, it's a nice house, built in 05. And his auction hasn't even been set yet. Now, he got his original notice of default sent to him in October of last year. So he's been pushing these guys off, or he's gotten himself out. But I would always take this whole list here. I forget how many it was. It was like 47, I believe. Instead of them doing them individually, you can always say, I want all of them. And from here, you could skip trace all of them at one time. It's a lot easier that way if you're doing a large list. Also, once you have got the list, okay, and you want to take it to like a CRM where you've got a dialer where you could follow up with people, you can export this data out into a CSV or an Excel file and upload that into a specific CRM that you're looking at. So that is for right now the top list, Garrett, top 2 lists I'd be working right now.
Okay.
You'll also see there's people in pre-foreclosure. Now that I think about it, I saw that were non-owner occupied. So they own a house that they don't live in that's going up for pre-foreclosure. That's going to be the highest motivated person there ever was. Because
Yeah,
I'm not.
I see several on
Huh?
I see several on here that are non-owner occupied.
Yeah. So those are good ones. So generally, if I got a hold with somebody, I'm always going to try to get to this appointment to go physically see it, because this is a very emotional stage for somebody. And I can connect better, a lot better, if I meet them in person than just doing it all over the phone. That also sets you apart from somebody else too.
Sure. Great.
Awesome. Thank you, Garrett. All right, guys. Does anybody else want me to kind of go over your area, show you what I'd be pulling? And y'all would be so sweet if you'd turn those cameras on.
Hey, Julie, I have a question.
Justin and Garrett show.
Hey, Julie, I have a question.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I have 2 questions. First of all, I was supposed to be coming to Atlanta tomorrow to the training, but somehow they messed up my flight, so I won't be able to make it. And I'm not going to drive from Florida, but this weather is just crappy up here. So now I'm upset because I thought I was going to make it. Is it going to be streamed on live? No. Okay. Just wanted to know that.
I just didn't bring the manpower to do that this time.
No, I understand. So my question is, can you go back to where you're doing the search for the pre-foreclosures and I'm just confused on that part where it got dates, where it has dates. What do we need to put in that part where it asks you dates, like before or after? Do we need to put anything in those categories under filters?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go here. Search. I'm gonna clear out all these searches.
So yeah, if you can do the first one however you need to do it. I'm just trying to figure out what do we need to put as far as dates are concerned.
Okay.
Brevard County, Florida.
Okay. So I'm gonna put pre-foreclosures.
Right.
That have an auction date scheduled.
Right.
If you'll see these 40 here.
Yes.
So you want to pull notice of default, no auction date on the first list. On the second list, you want to pull pre-foreclosures where you know there's an auction set.
So on that first list that you got up here where you selected the predefined search, are you saying, so when I go in the first time, you want me just to click notice of default, no auction date?
Yes.
So I don't have to, and then Mhm.
You could also put single family home with auctions 30 plus days away. The thing is that you guys work with me. Some of y'all work with me directly. And if it's a week away, we're going to figure it out.
Gotcha.
You know what
So
I'm
you want
saying?
me to
Like, I can help y'all stop a foreclosure.
Okay, so the
So
best
I
thing to
don't
do
want
is,
you to, I don't want you to get rid of some of these, but somebody might want to.
okay, so the best thing to do is just to pull the first list is to pull the notice of default with no auction date.
Now let's go after the ones that do have auctions.
Okay.
So we're going to go to choose additional features. We're going to go single family home, townhome, duplex, truck, quad. She's in Brevard. I'm going to pull condos all day long.
35%, right?
Yeah, 35 or 40.
Okay, I probably would do 40.
So
this,
you want the auction date to be
right.
after a certain date here.
Got you. Okay, so we want the auction date to be at least 7 days away. Is that what you're saying? Maybe.
At
possibly?
minimum. At minimum, yeah.
Okay, so do you think I should go out further to like maybe 15 days then? Or do you think 7's okay?
Well, I kind of look at this. So there's 33, right?
Right.
So when I put in here, I believe your auction's the first Tuesday of the month.
Yes.
So if I say everything after this date, it goes from 33 to 22, which means there's a good 10 or so people that I think I'd work anyway.
Okay, so let me see what day you click. So you click the first Tuesday of July. Did you click the Wednesday? I'm sorry, I was writing.
Oh, well, yeah, after
Tuesday.
After, yes. So, or it's going to give you the same thing.
Okay, gotcha.
I think it will. Yeah. So, but now had I clicked Monday, it must be. So there looks like there to be about 11 or so that's happening at the 1st of July.
Okay.
But if you're fairly new and you've got these huge lists, I just suggest that you don't overwhelm yourself with the people that are about to lose their house.
Okay.
Because all their equity probably has gotten eaten up and it's difficult.
Okay.
But you know, if you're seasoned like you are, Avis, I mean, and you don't got tons of them, I'd get on all of these.
Okay. So that's what I was just
you're
wondering.
looking for auction after a certain date. And
Okay.
I know why you're confused, because I got confused last week and was doing it. I wanted it to be after the notice of default date. And literally I was driving home and I was like, well, that don't make any sense. You know what I'm like? Yeah, so I'm letting you know that I messed you up last week, because literally I got off the call and was like, I wonder why nothing showed up. There must be a glitch in the system. And I'm like, Julie, come on, girl. So it's after on the auction date, not notice of default date.
Okay, that's what I was confused about, because I kept saying I'm getting 0 things, and
Yeah, I know, because
I'm trying to pull these lists, and I'm just like, I'm getting nothing. So that's why I want to come on today to make sure that I'm doing that. And as far as pulling lists and doing pre-foreclosures, I mostly am like a sub 2 person, but I'm trying to sub 2 on these if there's enough equity in the house, and I'm just trying to make sure
we can sub 2 flip.
Oh, okay.
So we can buy them sub 2 and flip them.
Okay.
So that's like those ones that are a little tight where they don't fit the 65% of ARV minus repairs.
Yes.
Because we're not going out and getting a loan. Let's say we take over $15,000 in the rears. Right. And we pay that to make their payments. And then we're only out the rears amount, the monthly payments, and the renovation.
Okay.
So just kind of run those by me. But anytime you see any of those that would do a sub 2 and there's at least 20% equity in there, then that'll probably work for a sub 2 flip.
Okay. All right. I'll write that down. So I'll be able to understand that. I just hired a VA, so I'm trying to do a training video on how to just make the calls, just make the appointment, and then I'll call him back and see if I can get out there to talk to him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? Is there an ETA on getting St. Johns County fixed and DealDriven? I had some bugs fixed last week. Let me go see if it's been fixed. I don't know. Can you come off mute for me, whoever that person is?
I tried to respond back, but I think he left.
Sorry, guys. Let me go make sure this bug doesn't exist anymore, if y'all don't mind. If he comes back, this is St. Johns County right here in Florida. So I don't know what the question is. Okay. All right. Just Justin, go ahead.
It's not really a deal driven question. It's more of a like follow-up question. Is this something I should ask you off the Zoom?
No, it's good for everybody, probably, I'm sure.
Well, I called 9 properties or 9 homeowners earlier today, and a lot of the numbers weren't in service, and I was able to get a voicemail with their numbers, and the sellers that I got with their numbers, I wrote them down on a list just so I can kind of follow up on it. What's your kind of rule on following up? Because I don't want to bombard them with a bunch of text messages and calls and emails on one day and do it consecutively every day. So what is your kind of recommendation on that?
I normally do like 2 or 3 days in a row, then come off a couple days, then start again. If they're about 2 weeks away from losing their house, I'm going to contact them until they tell me to go to you know where, because I really can help them. So it sort of depends on the timing. I'm going to get me a drink.
Yeah.
But it sort of depends on that timing.
Okay. The timing. So the closer they are to their deadline, the more I should bother them. Sort of.
Yeah.
Say.
I would just because I'm like, listen, like I'm running out of time. I've got solutions for you.
All right. And then as far as the phone mills go, so there was like probably 3 or 4 of these people that I contacted where all 3 of the numbers didn't work. So just email them.
Just email them. Are they in pre-foreclosure?
Yes, these are our pre-foreclosure pulled lists.
If you're out somewhere, put a note on their door.
Okay.
And when you're putting notes on the door, don't use paper with Scotch tape. No, it really will pull the paint off the door. Like I had this lady's door repainted because she called me and cussed me. So I literally had to come. So what works really well is at the Office Depot, they've got these big Post-it notes. I don't know if y'all have seen those.
Yep.
And I just keep them in the center console of my truck and with a Sharpie marker. I want to buy your house. My name's Julie, and here's my phone number. And just
got it. And then in regards to the sellers that I actually got, an authentic seller when they left their voicemail, should I leave a voicemail or should I just kind of like call?
Leave a voicemail. And if it's the first couple of voicemails, I don't even talk about buying their house.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, Justin, it's Julie. Hey, I just wanted to talk to you for a few minutes. Give me a call back. 6, 7, 8. I literally just talk like if I was calling my buddy.
Okay, got it. Perfect. That's what I needed. Thank you very much, Julie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Julie, it's Avis again. No one else has questions, but I do. So I wanted to go with what you were saying about, so you said that if you're calling them and you're running out of time within that week process, and you're saying, hey, I'm running out of time, I have solutions for you. In that short period of process, what solutions do I really have? Because the only thing that I could do to possibly stop the sale is to get a PSA and get that sent over to the bank super quick, or for them to file bankruptcy. What other solutions do?
That's it.
Okay.
Unless they're active service members in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. That's really the only way. But I've been noticing these banks, if we do a purchase and sell agreement, they've been giving me another 30 days.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If I could send a PSA over to the bank, would they let the time go out?
I just get on the phone with the seller and their bank and be like, listen, I want to buy the house. I know the auction's next week, but I need a chance to get my inspector out. Would you give us another 30 days? And I'll send you my proof of funds and my contract. And 99% of the time they'll do it.
Okay, perfect. So that was my one question. My next question is, how do I do driving for dollars? My friend was talking to me about that. I was like, I've never even been on that. Can you show me real quick on how to?
Oh, I sure can. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I've never been on it, never driven for it, and I need to know how to do it. So,
okay. So I'm going to show you virtual driving for dollars. So there's physical driving for dollars and virtual driving for dollars. So our app allows for the virtual side, but here's the premise around it. So when you're driving for dollars, you're not looking for anything that's for sale. No, that sounds really weird. I'm not looking for any for sale unless it's a FSBO sign and I go on Zillow and it's not for sale on there. But you do sub twos and owner finance, so that's not going to bother you. FSBOs are a good lead for you. If I'm flipping, it's not a good lead.
Right. And so you're just looking for the ones that, like I seen two the other day walking, when I was walking on my little 4-mile walk, and I seen two that, and I opened the mailbox and it said vacant. There was a vacant sign inside the mailbox. So I wrote that down. So am I looking for homes that just look like they're distressed, abandoned?
Yeah, overgrown landscape, sheets in the windows instead of blinds, tarp on the roof, the eaves and overhangs rotten, trash thrown everywhere, old cars in the yard.
Okay.
You know, it's like the one of those houses in the neighborhood where you're like, I bet everybody wants them to move.
Now.
Whether it's vacant or not. So on driving for dollars leads, I literally will just cold call them. And I will send them a letter and knock on the door. Actually, for every 60 houses I find driving for dollars, I will close a deal.
Knock on door.
It is the easiest call to make. Since I'm on this subject, can I share the script on how to call them?
Yeah, for me, for sure. I was just about to tell you what I say and see if you thought I was wrong. Okay.
So I like these calls because the lead in is so easy. It's not even funny. So I say, John, hey, this is Julie. How are you doing today? Oh, good. Well, actually, the reason why I was calling is the other day I was driving down Main Street and I saw this house that I believe that you own at 1735. Yeah, I own that house. What can I help you with? Well, you see, I buy, fix, and sell houses, and sometimes I buy and rent them out. And when I saw yours, I just knew I had to give you a call because it's exactly what I've been looking for. And I was just wondering, John, is there any way I could come out there and make you an offer for it? That's it. I never call myself a real estate investor. I never say, are you the property owner of 123 Main Street? Everybody wants to say that. And as soon as they do, the other person hangs up the phone because they're like, oh God, another one of them. I literally call people like I would call them about a car or a tractor or a lawnmower or anything I'd see in their yard. So that's what I would do. Now, during COVID, nobody was getting out, so we developed it virtually. So technically, you could drive for dollars all over the United States now.
Oh yeah, but I don't even know how to drive for dollars. Do I get in my car and use the app? I'm not sure.
You did. You already did. You went and walked 4 miles. That's walking for dollars. It's no different.
I was just on an exercise walk and happened to see it.
I mean, listen, now I can't even quit undoing it. Like when I go on vacation, I do driving for dollars because I could not help it.
Okay.
Because there's just opportunities everywhere. But I want to show y'all how to do this, okay? Because I haven't covered this in a while. I'm going to use a place near to me, okay? And kind of show you how to do it. So I'm going to go to an area called Gainesville, Georgia. This is a medium-sized town north of Atlanta. When I pick this city, what's going to happen is it's going to take me to the city center of any city that I go to. Normally, that's going to be where the courthouse is, all of that. So the houses I'm looking for are not right here. You'll notice on the left-hand side of my screen, there's a legend here. Orange is for pre-foreclosures. Purple is for vacants. Blue is for non-owner aucts. Green's for cash buyers. So I'm going to keep moving around. I'm going to come
You
out.
literally have 0 houses in your area that fits any of those?
No, I'm about to. Do y'all see these dots?
Oh, now I see them. Mhm.
So these are overlays of property lines. Okay, so if I'm I'm going to put myself like in a wholesaler shoe. What's one thing I see a lot of right here? Blue dots.
So, non-owner occupied.
So what does that tell you when there's a lot of blue dots in one area?
A lot of renters.
These are a lot of rental houses. Yes. So for me, this is a great area for me to go like virtually driving for dollars because I know investors are buying here. We've got vacant houses. We've got all sorts of things. So literally you just move around on the map till you see it.
Until I see a spot that's like that. That's going to be like maybe with blue and purple or even green. There's cash buyers in the area.
Yes. A whole bunch of dots centrally located.
Okay, gotcha.
Because you'll notice when you start getting into expensive neighborhoods, you won't see any blue dots.
Okay.
The only thing you got to worry about, Avis, is vacation rentals. So when you get towards the beach, you're going to see lots of blue dots, but those are vacation rentals.
Okay.
Or somebody's second home, but nobody's vacationing in Gainesville, Georgia. At least I don't think so.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll in a little bit. And again, this is overlays of property boundaries. I'm going to go ahead and just click on one house. And I'm going to say, you know what? Take me there virtually. Bam. Now
they're working on that house. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you called it. There was a bunch of blue dots. Mm-hmm. Somebody's renovated this house to probably rent it out or to resell it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now I could go down the street without even going to Gainesville and just start looking up and down the road.
Are these images based off of Google Images or are they like real-time images?
No, this is the Google cars that drive around.
Oh yeah, because sometimes they're like really outdated to like, sometimes 3 or 4 years ago. That's what I was wondering.
Sometimes, but they've gotten a whole lot better. The thing that I love about this is there's one thing for having Google Maps. This is overlaid with DealDriven. So like this house right here, like I can already tell you this is a good lead. What does somebody notice about this house?
To me, it's kind of like overgrown on the sides and the yard is overgrown. Doesn't look like it's been cut.
Yeah, this is outdated. This kind of stuff right here.
That lattice, yeah.
So press identify right here, guys. Now, I don't want to leave, but I do want to add this to a list. And I'm going to name this list Gainesville driving for dollars. Okay. So now I'm going to add that one. Now I'm going to move on because I don't want to just sit here. I want to just keep moving.
Well, you don't want to know if the house has any equity. You don't care about any of that. You just want about the
not yet. First. I'm just going to build myself a list.
Okay.
Like that one looks good. I mean, because for this area, that's outdated, but that's a very well taken care of home.
It is. Very nice house too for rental. Now, do you just turn around and go back down the other side of the street or no?
You just go up and down whatever street you want to go up and down, really. Okay. So you're just kind of looking for these outliers. I may want to go back and say, okay, well, that's MLK Junior Boulevard's generally a major road. At least every Martin Luther King Jr. road I've seen has been major roads.
And it's usually the hood. Yeah.
Which is a little ridiculous, but okay. Let's see here. We're going to go here virtually. We're going to go to this new place.
Out of state owner, non-occupied.
Well, that's a lot.
It's a big lot.
Mm-hmm. They must have torn these houses down.
I was going to say it had to be a house there because you see the steps.
Yeah. Now, I'm not really seeing anything about that property, but so this takes some time, right? Now, the other thing is they're not bad that they're non-owner occs. It's just you're going to be able to pick these up on a list. I'm looking for ones I'm not going to find on a list.
And how would you find that? Like, what would it say on here to let me know that it wouldn't be on the list?
Well, so let me go into this one, details. Okay, this is not on a list because it's not non-owner occupied.
So it's owner occupied.
It's Maria Velasquez. She lives here.
Okay.
This is the home she lives in. So let me go see at that other house that we saw, the first one we picked.
That one.
Yep. See, sometimes the beautiful leads are the ones that are not on list, but you find them driving for dollars because nobody ever pulls them. So they're like your honey holes. You get what I'm saying? If I find something driving for dollars that doesn't pull up on a list, then those are like honeypot leads because nobody's taking the time to do this.
So in other words, it would be a house that is supposedly owner occupied, but it's abandoned. No one's really in it. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Or they live there. It's just in terrible shape.
Gotcha. And we still can call them. Yeah. This would be annoying for me. I would have to get in the car and do it, I think. I
like doing it in the car, but for a lot of people that aren't maybe mobile, this is, or like the computer.
Right.
You know, they really like doing this. But for everybody that's here, I want to show you what I'm talking about list. A great list to pull is if I went to Hall County, Georgia, which is the county that's in, and I wanted to pull all the non-owner occupied properties. There's tens of thousands of these. So instead of a pre-foreclosure, I want all my non-owner occupied properties that are vacant. I want them to have all of these criterias. So there's 668 properties in Hall County where someone owns a property that's sitting vacant. They own a property that they don't live in that's sitting vacant. This is an enormously great list as a wholesaler. Single family home, duplex, triplex, quads, even townhouses. Here's my equity. Let's do 40. Like pre-foreclosures, this is a tremendously great list too.
But this is just a call list, a cold call list, not a driving list.
Yes.
Okay,
I guess the point that I was trying to make is you want to find the driving for dollar leads that aren't on this list.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of where Carlos says, how do you flip these? So generally you would call the owner, you would negotiate a price, you would buy it, you would renovate it, and then you would resell it. I don't know if that kind of helps, Carlos. Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen?
Julie, last question. If we were in a car, do we pull this app up at the same time or do we just?
Oh, that's even cooler. Now I'll tell you, I'm not in the app store. Okay. But if you go to your, what's this called? Safari, log into your DealDriven account here.
Okay.
Okay. It actually geocodes your location.
Okay.
So you know how like I was in front of it virtually?
Right.
You can drive down the road and it knows what house you're looking at.
Gotcha. That's what I was wondering, because that if I drive, I just want to make sure, how do I know to keep that? And I can save that just like you were doing on the app.
Yes, yes. And
okay, I'm gonna try that this weekend.
That is actually the whole reason why we made this app. I get like, don't get as excited about it is talking about it, because I used to have to write lists and then go back and skip trace them. So this is literally click, done, click, done.
Okay. I'll try that this weekend.
Yes, yes. All right. Chloe, if you could put this in the chat, if anybody is interested in partnering with myself or one of my companies on flipping houses, wholesaling houses where we put the money up and we split profits. You could schedule a call with one of my team members today. If you look in the chat, you will see a link in there where you could schedule a call. How do we get a proof of funds from you or hard money lenders for offers? If you're a partner connector, you would literally just reach out to your support person. They'll give you a proof of funds. If you're not a partner or connector, all you got to do is like literally call a hard money lender, get pre-approved for a loan, and they'll give you a proof of funds. I don't suggest people go and get like free proof of funds off the internet, because you can definitely do it, because a smart agent's going to call that lender, or a smart investor is going to call a lender. So like if I'm wholesaling a house and I have an investor give me a contract to buy it, I'm going to ask for a proof of funds, and I'm going to call that number on there to make sure it's real. Because you can just get bogus proof of funds all day long on the internet, but that's the real way to do it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being a customer of DealDriven. We appreciate it. We'll be here same time, same place next Thursday, 2 p.m. Bye-bye, guys.